The woke mind virus is crazy. It will make you break the law and you don't even know you're breaking the law. Like the guys who are vandalizing Teslas, not knowing that, well, guess what? You're breaking the law.
Arresting them for harboring a suspected Tren gang member in their guest house.
Are you serious?
For more on all of this, we are honored to have in the new U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi. It's good to talk to you, Pam.
Good to talk to you.
So let me read a little bit from the criminal complaint here. Judge Dugan says, despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse. A foot chase ensued. The agents pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse and ultimately apprehended him. According to this complaint, Judge Dugan was visibly...
Nah, bro, we're trying to sneak him out the back door? Shit. He trying to say, all right, look, man, look, if you go to there, look, I'm gonna go ahead and rule you and say you gotta go, but I'm going to sneak you through the back door. All right, man. You can stay at my crib. I'll go ahead and cook you some tacos when you wake up and all that good stuff. But yeah, go through the back door. And the ICE caught his ass. And now he got to go to jail too. I mean, the judge is going to jail too, as he should. As he should. I mean, bro, you radical judges are all gonna go to jail if you think you can do this.
Angry that ICE was there to arrest Flores Ruiz, even tried to kick the deportation agents out of the courthouse.
Yeah, and to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked.
That's even worse. They actually have crimes against citizens. Crimes against American citizens, and we're protecting them, just like Kilmar Garcia. Crimes against American citizens, yet we're protecting them. Do you guys understand? You guys are standing up for criminals who hurt your fellow American citizens, or maybe you just hate America so much you hate American citizens as well, and you rather stick up for immigrants. I mean, you might as well just be honest, because obviously you don't love America or Americans. So I'm just saying, man, y'all might as well just show y'all true colors now. And shout out to my man, Fox Chase. He said, shit, I put a pic of the other Justies that got arrested in the general chat. Show it, please. I got you.
Choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway.
Bro, that is wild. Finds out that, yes, he is guilty of committing these crimes. Go out in the hallway and try to sneak him out back? Go and try to sneak him out back. Bro, shout out to my man, Fox Chase. Bro, Fox Chase, you are hilarious for this. Yeah. This is what we like to see here, guys. This is what we like to see. Is like, you know, but what the fuck? Is that even a woman? Are you sure? Are you sure, bro? Because I'm looking down here and I'm not sure if that's a woman or not. But okay, we'll pretend. But yeah, this lady right here, though. Yep. I mean, look, you can go from a judge to a criminal real quick. I mean, you went from you're supposed to be able to protect the citizens through you know, throwing down your gavel on criminals. You know, upholding the law on illegals at that. Like, he's an illegal citizen. He hurts citizens in your district, state, city, don't matter. And you try to sneak him out the back? Yeah, have a nice long stay in jail, please. Nice long stay. And I don't even know if you even a woman, so we don't even know if you're going into the woman jail. Now, I know the lips are chucking, but yo, she's a woman, bro. You're a transphobic and all that good stuff. And yeah, cry me a river, G. Cry me a river. Of liberal tears, please, because my cup is running low.
Screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow.
Right. You know, Madam Attorney General, great to have you here, and thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts. Listen.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts. And
I mean, now that you look at her, it just makes so much sense, though. I mean, like, come on, guys. Come on. She looks like she do the shit. She looks like it. She looks as liberal as possible. Like, bro, fat. Like, come on. Like, well, fat, insane, and a woman at that point. I ain't gonna lie. Sorry, liberal women, but y'all do not have a good image on y'all, because this is your standard liberal old woman. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna be so honest when I say this. Yeah, each and every one of them is gonna deserve what they get, and I really do hope they get each and every one of these judges. I even hope they get the one that's trying to stop Trump's deportations on some shit. Wanna know why? Because we're trying to get criminals up out of here, and you're stopping the process. Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Instead of, looking out for your citizens, you're looking out for non-citizens.
In great depth. That's her picture up on the screen. Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
In fact, she just had an initial appearance in court. There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico. Judge Joel Cano and his wife were arrested for harboring a TDA member at their home. The alleged TDA member had been picked up by law enforcement, and now he and his wife were picked up and arrested. And you say that you believe, as the Attorney General, that the person that they were having living at their home was a truly potentially bad individual.
Yeah, that's the judge up on the screen now who got arrested. Yeah, his name is Ortega. He was a known TDA member, known TDA member. So he comes through Eagle Pass.
Are you serious? So now y'all they're hiding gang members. You guys are hiding gang members who are usually running from their country because they're of, persecution, because they've done crimes in their country, which usually involves, unaliving somebody else. So you invite that man into your house. I mean, you could have spent your time out feeding the homeless, I don't know, at a youth center, at an orphanage. Like, you could have did all this to help the American people, but you are helping an illegal immigrant. Oh my. It low-key makes me angry. I'm not gonna lie to you, because like I said, out of all the things you could be doing for your people, this is what you're doing.
December 2023. He's living in our country. January 2025, ICE, they get a tip. Tom Homan's done a great job. Our FBI did a great job on this case too. They get a tip that he is living with a judge and the judge's wife. So they have him arrested first on immigration charges. A Judge Damian Martinez releases him, saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter and wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the...
Nah, I ain't hear that right. Please, God, please tell me I ain't hear that. You know what? I think that illegal was dicking down the wife, bro. That illegal was doing something with the wife, and the guy's a cuck. And I'm sorry I'm taking this route, but nah, bro, this is weird. This is weird. It's like, what is he, y'all secret boyfriend? Is like, what y'all got going on in there? Because that's a little bit weird for the judge and his wife, and they got an illegal in there, grown ass man. I mean, come on now.
Great job on this case too. They get a tip that he is living with a judge and the judge's wife. So they have him arrested first on immigration charges. A Judge Damian Martinez releases him, saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter.
And this is not good, because, like, bro, I'm gonna be so honest with you. If you're an Hispanic judge, officer, whatever, it is not in your benefit right now to do anything for these illegals right now. Because at a certain point, we're going to start questioning y'all loyalty. Like, even now, I would start questioning the loyalty of all judges with an Hispanic last name. I know it sounds racist, but at this point, it's like, yo, y'all hiding them? Like, hey, like, bro, whose side are you on here? Like, cause I thought we were for America. You over here hiding gang members in your crib. I don't know. Like I said though, I'm not trying to make that. Not trying to make that point, but I'm just saying, if we start hearing more and more cases, I mean, look at AOC. I mean, like, my Hispanic people of America, I would hope you guys are not enticed to try to, help your cousin Julio who came over here illegally and, stuff him in the basement or the attic. I would hope you wouldn't do that.
And wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the associations with this violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, and this person that they harbored in their home, he was showing signs through clothing, we were told, tattoos. There was evidence through voice messages and text messages of his association to TDA. So what charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones.
It's so crazy. Hey guys. Hey, at least hey Dems, at least you can't say he didn't get due process. He just got done with due process. I mean, just like Kilmar Garcia. And if you don't know that, Kilmar Garcia had a deportation order in 2019. He's been caught up with the police through traffic violations and all. I mean, even getting caught up with in a gang sweep for a murder with a bunch of gang members, got caught in a car with an admitted human trafficker. I mean, and this is all court files. This is all from a court. There was an investigation done on this man by Prince George. If you can go ahead and look it up, Prince George County Police, their gang unit. Had an informant, pointed this man out as MS-13. I mean, there's a lot of information out there if you go look for it. Instead of being dishonest and talk about, oh, y'all don't know what due process is. Oh, no, we know what due process is. But we also know what the Alien Enemy Act is. You want to talk about them gang members on the plane.
Himself took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him. The wife also is charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that,
just not right, bro. Is it me or is it like something's it's a little deeper than this? Like, you just let some illegals stay with you, your wife, got your hand around you, like you boys and all that. Like, bro, what are you taking bribes from the cartel or something? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm confused. Like, what is he doing? Dicking your down wife, wife on the side? What are you, swingers? Like, why is he there?
This TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of two decapitated victims, victims, decapitated, gruesome photos. And he was sending them out. And whoever he was sending them to was sending back saying, hey, you need to be careful. You shouldn't be sending these. You shouldn't be texting these photos out. Not only that, these two, the judge and his wife, gave him assault rifles that belonged to their daughter. That's what they're charged with. In the criminal report affidavit, he goes to a shooting range with these assault rifles, with a suppressor, with other known TDA members, and they're shooting. This is the last person that we want in our country, nor will we ever tolerate a judge or anyone else harboring them.
Let me, if I could, Madam Attorney General, come back to the Wisconsin case and Judge.
You know what? Like I said, we had a supporter/member who was on, and he was a naysayer. He disagreed with us on immigration and all that. And he literally said that, hey, yeah, I'll harbor an illegal immigrant. And now that I keep thinking about it, I'm like, yo, if I don't see Professor Swagamuffin in a couple months, bro, I'm gonna email, bro, like, dog, please tell me you didn't actually do that dumbass shit, bro. Like, I get it. We disagree on a lot of stuff, but I don't want to see you in jail. Like, come on, bro.
Hannah Dugan, because in allegedly letting the perpetrator and the attorney out through a non-public exit and allowed them to get out in front of the building, we had a situation where we've seen that I know Tom.
Oh, guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, man. Let's get the likes up and let's get more people in on the conversation. And if you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to engage with it and read it out loud. Just $2 and up. Appreciate the support. And we are $145 away from opening up the call-in line, running Conspiracy Hour. Appreciate the support, guys.
Tom Homan was complaining about in Colorado, where there would be no transfer of a defendant from a jail to ICE custody on a detainer request in a way that was orderly and protected public safety. They would dump them off in a parking lot, and then ICE would have to chase them around with the DEA or whatever, or FBI, and pick them up. This ended up in a foot chase in public sight. It says here, a foot chase ensued. The agents, and this was a DEA agent and an FBI agent, pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse, ultimately apprehended him near the intersection of West State Street and 10th Street. So the judge apparently has created a situation here where you have a public foot chase. And we all know that, well, sometimes they can come off without incident. They can also turn into very dangerous situations.
John, that's exactly right. She put the lives of our law enforcement officers at risk. Right. She put the lives of citizens at risk. A street chase, which is absurd that had to happen. But yes, she put a lot of people in danger. That judge did it. So did the other judge. Judge Cano is charged with. They were allegedly giving him assault rifles, AK-47s, AR-15s with a
Nah. I ain't gonna lie though. That's a little deeper. I mean, that judge might be caught up in something a little deeper than just, embedding illegals. I think bro might be in the arms. Well, I ain't gonna lie, in like an arms sales. He might be an arms dealer because what? All right, Mexican staying with you. You're hooking up with all types of guns. He's a gang member. Cartel gun funnel. I mean, come on, it's in the realm of possibilities. Like, let's be real.
Presser, a known TDA member, letting him go to a shooting range to refine and perfect his shooting skills. Madam, what's happened to our judiciary is beyond me.
Yeah. So when the American public hears this and they think these were once upstanding people in their communities and their professions, and they put it all on the line for this. I mean, have you dug into their motive? Like, what inspired them to carry out these acts and harbor criminals?
They're deranged is all I can think of. I cannot believe. I think some of these judges think they are beyond and above the law, and they are not. And we're sending a very strong message today. If you are harboring a fugitive, we don't care who you are. If you are helping hide one, if you are giving a TDA member guns, anyone who is illegally in this country, we will come after you and we will prosecute you. We will find you.
If I could just finish off with this idea, very significant development that you're arresting judges now. Now, it could be that the judges have engaged in terribly bad behavior and deserve to be arrested. But you know what critics will say? They'll say, "Oh, this is a government that is expanding the powers of the Article 1 of the Constitution. Now they're arresting judges." How do you respond to that?
No one is above the law, John. No one is above the law in this country. And if you are destroying evidence, if you are obstructing justice, when you have victims sitting in a courtroom of domestic violence and you're escorting a criminal defendant out a back door, it will not be tolerated, and it is a crime in the United States of America.
You're going to go to jail, as you should. I mean, I'm pretty sure even the libs in the chat, as much as they disagree with me, can agree that, yeah, lady, I ain't gonna lie, you got to go to jail. Like, you're done here. You're done. In this case alone, we can all agree, right, that she deserves to go to jail.
Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be prosecuted.
Madam Attorney General, great to see you in the studio.
Great to see you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most.
And all right, now let's get to Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, shout out Tulsi Gabbard. I ain't heard from this lady in a minute, but let's go.
Gabbard is here, and she's saying this: deep state criminals, and she puts them on notice, referring to two allegedly.
Wait, he's Venezuelan, not Mexican. Hey, shout out my man David. Wait, who's Venezuelan? Garcia or who's Venezuelan? All right.
Speakers of classified info of the DOJ.
But I appreciate the support though. Either way, man. Shout out to my man Fox Chase and David. Appreciate y'all.
For prosecution. So 2 and more are coming. Third referral is on the way. Here to explain is the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Director, great to see you in person.
Good to see you, Brian.
So I read about this. You indicated to me this was happening. 2 people have been found to be leaking. A third on its way. Can you give me the nature of the leaks and how you discovered it?
Oh, you talking about the guy that was living with the judges in them? Okay. Sorry, I guess I just kept saying Mexican out of habit. I'm sorry. Every time I see a Hispanic person, I think Mexican. I'm sorry, but hey, it be like that.
Let's just first of all point out what we know has been the
Like,
problem.
hey, every time you see an Asian person, what do you think? China, exactly.
For a very long time. One of the reasons why the American people voted resoundingly for President Trump was to root out the kind of politicization and weaponization of intelligence that has really undermined the trust the American people have in the intelligence community and the national security state, but really what also directly undermines our own national security. So I made it very clear to the U.S. Senate, to the American people when I had the honor of being appointed to this position, that we will not allow this to continue. We take this very seriously. It is illegal to leak classified information. And so what you're seeing here is me carrying out on the promise and the mandate the American people gave Trump. We conducted our own internal investigation. We have referred them now to the Department of Justice and the FBI for an official criminal investigation, because these are crimes and people need to be held accountable to put a stop to this.
When you were Congresswoman, we talked about this. There's people within the department not selling secrets to Russia or China.
Well, we're keeping an eye out for that too.
Absolutely, but undermining the policy of the administration, the first administration, working against you at the CIA, working against you. Now you're finding this out. So you found people who seem motivated to undermine the president.
Yeah, when we look at the examples that I've seen just in the short time that I've been in this position, what they consist of is essentially very selective leaks to their friends in the propaganda media that twist and manipulate intelligence directly to undermine the president's policies and his aggressive work to keep the American people safe.
So does that third person know that you're zeroing?
I mean, I know it's kind of crazy because last time I got why they dragged Hexefin, or they kind of dragged everybody into that hearing about the signal thing or signal gate. This time I'm a bit confused. The man was having a conversation with his wife and his brother, and you guys leaked it, and now you're calling this another signal leak. The man was having a conversation with family members, and somebody in his department leaked it, and now y'all are calling that what? Oh, it's another one. More military secrets has been released. No, it was just a conversation between his wife and his brother. So, and that was it.
Bring in on them.
I don't know if they know, but these are the first 3 investigations. We are referring to the Department of Justice. There are more that we are continuing to, investigations we're continuing.
Can you give me the nature of what they did, and will we know their names?
I can't get into detail now because of the criminal investigations that the FBI will be conducting. But in each one of these examples, I can tell you we know that the intent, based on the result that we've seen through their leaks to the Washington Post, the New York Times, and other outlets, Huffington Post and others, has been directly to undermine President Trump. And
like, look, if you ain't really seen the leaks, I mean, the leak messages, come on now, be quiet. I'll tell you what, I've seen them. I read the whole message, and what I've seen was, let's see here, all they had was really just the weapons that they used. There was like no longitude and latitude for location. There was no CIA asset announced. I mean, there was just time and what was it? Time and equipment used, which the equipment would be the jets. But yeah, I mean, that was it. And that's not military plans because, like I said, I mean, where's the location? Where's the asset? Where in Yemen? Actually, wait, it didn't even say Yemen. It just said terrorist. And the only reason why we found out it was Yemen because Yemen got bombed 2 hours later after the text. So, come on now. The only reason why we even knew it was Yemen is because of what happened after the text.
The work that he's doing.
In cooperation with the state.
And that's if you really read it. And I know if you really read it or not, because you'll be honest about the whole terrorist part. It did not say Yemen terrorists. It did not say where in Yemen, which terrorists, which location, nothing.
The director of the CIA and the FBI, since you're overseeing all of it. So it could be any in those bureaus beneath you.
Yes.
Okay. We just had the Secretary of Defense on, and he also is dealing with leak issues, 3 of which have been fired, maybe a 4 queued up. As Director of National Intelligence, do you have a role in that investigation?
I don't. The Department of Defense is conducting their own investigation. I've not been involved with or connected to that. What we are looking at is specifically within the intelligence community. So that means the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. but also with purview over the 18 different intelligence elements that I have oversight over.
Can you give me what you were told about you need to be able to communicate in real time, rapidly, with people at your level in a secure location?
Yeah.
Thanks to the Chinese infiltrating just about everything under the Biden administration, everyone was told to use the Signal app.
Yep.
What is the protocol for the administration about using the Signal app?
It's very simple. Obviously, we have official, secure means of communication, whether it's email or phone. That is the preferred method of communication. If, for example, someone is traveling, they're on the road,
Which happens all the time.
which obviously we're not all locked to our desks, which is a good thing. Limited use of an end-to-end encrypted app like Signal is not only authorized under this administration, it was used prolifically under the Biden administration as well, recognizing that that's the most secure form of communication, but not using it to communicate classified information, of course.
Was Jake Sullivan and former Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, were they communicating that way?
I have been told by people who have firsthand experience they communicated prolifically and in great detail using the Signal app.
So,
which is interesting because the Democrats on the committee and people who've been talking about this have never questioned or acknowledged that fact, even though we know that they know.
Yeah, it's important for people to point out that there's very few options because the Chinese have penetrated into almost every.
It's just practical.
Every major
we have to be able
device.
to communicate, and that is the most secure way to communicate.
Right.
Obviously, carefully. Limited, but we have to have options.
So just so you know, there's a big story out today that the Secretary of Defense was using the Signal app on his desktop. And his spokesperson, Sean Parnell, said this: the Secretary's use of communication systems and channels is classified. However, we can confirm that the Secretary has never used or does not currently use Signal on his government computer. When you get briefed, like I get briefed when I started here, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. What do they tell you? I mean, these are stories that really come from protocol, isn't it?
Well, first of all, the Signal app has been uploaded on government phones specifically to be able to use in those exigent circumstances where it is needed to be able to communicate. The point is being very careful in how you're using any means of communication if it is not a secure government classified system.
You're not new to Congress. You're not new to Washington.
No.
But you're in a position you couldn't possibly be known everything you were getting into. What's been the biggest surprise since you took over? What's one of the biggest adjustments since you've taken over?
There's a long list, but really the levels of very serious, deep reform that is essential. Number one, to restore trust on behalf of the American people in these institutions to keep the American people safe. And being able to make sure that across the board, we are focusing on that foremost mission. They're obviously the DEI stuff that has been a huge distraction. I've had employees come and talk to me and say they were expected to spend half of their day within the intelligence community focused on DEI work. What? So if you can imagine when we have intelligence professionals and analysts whose mission it is to make sure that the president has relevant, timely, apolitical, objective intelligence to make his decisions by. But in the last administration, they're told, you got to spend half your day on DEI work. We can understand why the capabilities in some cases were so degraded.
Well, you have, without DEI, you got free time to do what everyone's supposed to be doing. Great to see you.
Thank you,
thanks so much for coming in.
And all right, now let's get into the next video. That was a bit controversial. The whole Supreme Court.
A jam-packed day of.
I know these books, but hey. They try to say, oh, nobody's pretty much making these, putting adult books into little kid libraries. Nobody's selling gay literature or trying to put gay literature in kids' libraries. And, well, we was telling y'all, yeah, and y'all told us no. Well, I mean, honestly, this is how you guys say no.
Oh, it was a huge movie. It was the lead. No.
Ah, man, you libs are hilarious. But all right, though, let's get right to it. And make sure we double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people in on the conversation. And make sure to support the stream when any question, comments, jokes, or disagreement. I'll be happy to engage with it. $2 and up. Let's keep it going.
A jam-packed day of news just moments ago. HHS Secretary RFK Jr. going to war against artificial food dyes.
Gavin Newsom is putting his own party on blast in a brand new interview, but first to a monumental Supreme Court case on parental rights. The top court hearing oral arguments on whether elementary schools can force kids to read books on gender and sexuality after a Maryland school district introduced a new inclusivity initiative and withdrew its opt-out policy.
I mean, they had a book called The Prince and the Knight. Like, bruh, are you serious? Like, bro, I do not want my kid reading about a gay fantasy story. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't want it. I don't care if you want to call me a bigoted, homophobic. I don't care. I just would not want my kid or even a younger sibling or younger cousin of mine consuming that type of literature. Like, no, please. Let's keep the heterosexual stuff as God intended. Let's not do this.
Then a group of parents responded with a lawsuit claiming their religious rights had been violated.
Yeah.
Some are Muslim or Christian. Earlier, I spoke with one of those parents.
It was not merely reading, it was instruction. And you can find in the court documents how the teachers and...
there was look, I think it was somebody cracked open one of these books on a live and they started reading out of it and they started showing us the words, and it was a kid's book. And the kid's book was literally explaining how to have different types of sex. Well, I would say straight and gay sex, pretty much. That's pretty much what they were describing throughout the book. Framed as a children's book, though, like cartoon characters and all. Like, it was absolutely, disgusting. But hey, man, these libs is wild what they're trying to do. Like I said, we told you what they were doing with these books. If it's not true, then why is there a Supreme Court case about it?
Principals were instructed on how to approach the children and instruct the children with a very one-sided answer and approach to any questions that would come naturally from the children when these heavy topics are introduced.
And it's looking likely that the Supreme Court will side with the parents after the justices seem taken aback by the content in these books.
I, too, was struck by these are, young kids, picture books, and on matters concerning sexuality. I suspect there are a lot of non-religious parents who weren't all that thrilled about this. And then you add in religion, and that's, even more serious.
Judge Janine, the lower courts sided with the teachers union and not the parents, which by the time this gets to the Supreme Court, I imagine that even Elena Kagan was thinking, why in the world did this ever get to us in the first place? It's obvious.
Yeah, the Federal Appeals Court ruled that the school can withdraw a parent's right to opt their child out of this clearly sexual, transgender picture book for young children. And the issue is, parental rights as it relates to schools. Parents have a parental right and a constitutional right, but they don't have a right to control everything that goes on in the school. This case will be a very important case to define ultimately what control parents have as it relates to the school.
I mean, bro, these schools are going to low-key shut themselves down because if you try to trample on parents like this, I mean, you're going to lose that government funding you get per head, per student. I mean, you're going to lose it quick. And it ain't gonna be fun. It's gonna be crazy. I could actually see schools starting up more, I would say religious schools starting up just to counteract this. Because nobody wants to put their kid through that. I'm not even that religious. I'm not that religious of a guy. I'm not Christian, Muslim, none of that. But even I wouldn't want my kids seeing that. Even I would take my kid out of school and be like, bro, I'll put you in the Catholic school if it means you can avoid that bullshit.
Curriculum, and we've seen this tug of war start over the last few years specifically. But I mean, it started in 1925 when the court ruled states can't force children to attend only public schools when parents wanted their kids to go to religious schools. And we just keep defining it. But I think that the argument that the schools are using is pretty bizarre. They're saying that they want to be able to instruct these children about these books, not just read, but instruct. because, quote, diversity is strength, inclusivity is promise, and every child deserves an education that invites the truth. But I, as a parent, should have the right to say, I do not want my child exposed to any kind of ideology of gay or lesbian sexuality, irrespective of whether it violates my constitutional beliefs as a parent. So let's leave religion out. So the question, I think, is going to be a very simple one, where the courts are going to say you can opt out. But that's why, Dana, right now in this country, 29 states and the District of Columbia have school voucher programs so that parents don't have to deal with this nonsense of being called white supremacist and racist because they don't want their 5-year-old to be shown how boys have sex with each other. This is bizarre.
Jesse, even the other justices also seemed a little.
I mean, bro, it's like, bro, they had a whole love story between a prince and a knight. Like, are you serious? Like, this is what y'all going down. This is what y'all doing. Instead of teaching our kids math and science, making them, I don't know, more advanced, like have them doing, I don't know, geometry in like 4th grade. Y'all could have had that busting out. But this is what y'all want to do.
Little taken aback by the content. But in their brief, the school district said, it's just merely to introduce the concept. And the parents are saying, no, that's what we can do that at home. We don't need to do that in the classroom between 3 and 10.
I'm going to teach gay sex to your 6-year-old, whether you like it or not, is a powerful argument to the Supreme Court. Maybe the most perverted argument the Supreme Court has ever heard. Judge, can Justice Alito set these lawyers on fire?
I don't think it's a good
Okay,
idea.
probably not. Can he call Chris Hansen to catch a predator? Because this is a confession. These people in Montgomery County are sick. And look at these titles, Dana. Pride Puppy, Uncle Bobby's Wedding. I did a deep dive. It's more than just gay romance. Drag queens, F is for feather boa, I is for intersex. And they've managed to do something no one's ever done in the history of civilization. Unite Jews, Muslims, and Catholics together under one banner. Now, when all of these people have fought wars and killed each other for centuries, maybe you realize you're doing something wrong. You're right. The teachers now have this guidance session where they will facilitate the conversation and answer questions to the students. What kindergartner has a question about cross-dressing? And do you trust a purple-haired woman with a nose ring and a trans flag on her desk to have an honest conversation with your kid? Absolutely not. What's scary here, Dana, is they're so adamant about this that they've gone all the way to the highest court in the land, and they've spent $1 million in legal fees. And their argument is this: if 1 or 2 people opt out, then the lesson doesn't work. Okay, so that's like saying if 2 guys get a doctor's note to get him out of gym class, and there's 48 out of the 50 kids still in gym, then gym doesn't work. That's a preposterous argument. And Alito, I cannot wait to read his opinion.
Man.
Greg, you've got a great amount of notes.
Because it's an insane argument. I mean, I don't even know why this is in the Supreme Court. I'll be looking at them like, or even the lower courts, just like, bro, this should be easy. These books should not be seen by kids. If you want people to read these books, go sell it to an 18-year-old. Like, but we're not doing this. We're not going to sit there and pretend like you guys aren't trying to feed homosexuality to kids. Like, let's be real. This is what you are. You're trying to sexualize kids, and it's low-key evil. And it's crazy how we even got to debate it. But here we are, debating if children should be sexualized in class.
That I do, sweetheart.
If you know, you know. Gotta watch it 3.
Do you know we have to? This is the most important point of this segment. This is not about gays or lesbians. It's about activists. No reasonable gay wants to be part of this story. No gay wants to talk to your kids. This is the phenomenon of the activist, and it's ruined the gay brand. Once they added T to L and G and B, it was over. Gays, what did you think about? Your gay best friend, fun, creative, artistic, the best person to go out drinking with because they're hilarious. Or shopping. And then the T got attached. And with that came all this activism. And it sucked all the fun out of it. And suddenly it started becoming this this invasive thing in people's lives. And gays and lesbians are like, hell no, we don't want any part of this. This is not us. This is where, again, identity politics has blinded its followers to the basic concerns of most, if not all, Americans, including gays and lesbians. Nobody cares what you do in your house. Don't compel it on my family. We will fight you every step of the way. The percentage of children who identify as non-binary has more than quadrupled in the past, 5 years? That's evidence of a psychological contagion that has been spread by social media, hijacked by men who cosplay and women who are mentally ill. If this were a phase among kids, it would be great. But now you have activists who are exploiting that phase to somehow justify their miserable life choices. Just saw an article in Politico on Governor Pritzker.
All right, guys. I do want to clear something up for you guys here, okay? Because I've been hearing this 14th Amendment and all this good stuff. Now, look, the word persons and jurisdiction. I want you guys to focus on those two words when you break down the 14th Amendment, because jurisdiction is pretty much the phrase used to subject to the jurisdiction thereof, means being under the legal power or authority of the United States. Therefore, that the 14th Amendment is only for U.S. citizens. So when they talk about persons under jurisdiction, under the jurisdiction thereof, persons under their jurisdiction is the people of the United States, which is a U.S. citizen. That's it. So when you guys try to say that, well, the 14th Amendment can work for non-citizens, illegal immigrants. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It says it clearly, persons and the word jurisdiction. If you look up the word jurisdiction, it will pretty much outline it for you that, yeah, they're only talking about people who are under the authority and power of the United States.
It was a glowing effort to paint him as a front runner. Right up front, he says,
I'm sorry, I got tired of seeing the argument in the chat, and I'm just like, bro, are they really sitting here trying to say that? As if they're just like, y'all reading the same passage but getting a different definition. You see persons and then you just frame that. You don't even see the last part where it says the jurisdiction thereof, because it would automatically assume that the persons they're talking about is U.S. citizens, not persons in any fucking body.
We're bullying basically a tiny minority, a small defenseless people. He was talking about trans kids. He was basically painting parents as bullies because they were concerned about their children. Then he said, trans kids have a higher rate of suicide. Not true.
Yeah.
In fact, that is an egregious lie that is used by activists.
I mean, yeah, that is, bro, they would try to say, oh, trans kids have a higher rate of suicide. Or if a kid tells you that, or if your son tells you he don't want to be a girl, you don't let him do it, he'll commit suicide. It's like, bro, they frame it in the most insidious way. They make it seem like if you don't, bend the knee to your kid's delusions, your kid will commit suicide. I mean, it's an absolute wild way of framing it. And it's kind of a crazy way to get these parents to go along with it. I mean, that's what happened to Elon Musk. Like, yeah, Elon Musk was told that story. So he kind of went along with the whole, his son being transgender. And now his son will never live as a normal boy again.
To separate their parents from their children. When their parents say, I'm concerned about my child being fed some kind of brainwash, they say, you're going to have blood on your hands. How many trans kids do you want to kill? This is not gays. This is not lesbians. I would say it's probably not even the majority of trans. This is trans activism. So I think this concept of trans kids, well, I know it is a false construction. It's a confabulation that went unchecked out of fear of being called transphobic and financial gain by unscrupulous doctors who should be in jail. So I'll end on this. A child could be mentally ill and think that their healthy arm needs to be amputated. It's called xenomelia. It's when you feel that your limb is not part of your body. Would a doctor remove that limb? No, he would be jailed. Why are genitals different than your arm or your leg?
Bruh.
That's a question they cannot answer.
Sandra,
they can barely answer what is a woman.
You to say whatever you want, but I just want to put up for everybody on the board something that Martha McCallum was
And
talking
I always
about.
do say though, like they like to say, "Oh, why do you guys focus on trans and all that good stuff?" And I'm like, bro, we honestly don't care about them. We just want them to keep their ideology to themselves and stop trying to spread it on kids. That's what we're bringing up. And if you don't remember, you guys told us that we were bullshitting. You guys told us that they weren't doing that in school, but here's a whole court case on it. It kind of seems like every time we have a gotcha moment on the trans issue, you guys want to subvert, like you weren't just saying that everything we were saying was a lie. Now that everything that we were saying is coming out to be true, now you guys have this dishonest position of, oh, let go of it already. Oh, why do you care about what's in between their legs? I don't give a fuck what's in between their legs. I care about what they're trying to teach my children. That's what I care about. I care what they're trying to teach these kids. I care about how they're trying to brainwash young men into cutting their nuts off. Yeah, that's what I care about. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but do that with your life and don't try to preach it to other people as if it's not a life-altering thing, as if you can just take it back, because you can't.
About with the teachers union representative at 3:00.
Boy.
Maryland school rankings for math and reading. If you look at 2013, they were 2nd and 16th in the country. Wow. And just in 11 years, now they're 20th and 39th.
Yeah, and this is not a focus for the teachers unions, and they should be focusing on reading, writing, and arithmetic. But Randy Weingarten told Martha that they want to focus on the whole child. She said 90% of it's reading, writing, arithmetic, and their studies, 10% is on the whole child. That's too much with report cards like that. And JB Pritzker.
Hey, and shout out to my man Nate, man. Appreciate the support. Nate says, thank you for pointing out that this thing that everyone can't seem to get past, which is reading the entire amendment. I don't understand what happened to basic reading comprehension. 14th, read all of it. Please, the 14th, read all of it. That's what I'm saying. Y'all was killing me with this whole person thing, and I see that you're just looking to be right. Because if you read the entire 14th Amendment, that jurisdiction part is pretty crucial. The jurisdiction part is why we say, yeah, it's only U.S. citizens. You could look it up on Google. I don't care where you want to look it up at. You could even look it up on the government website, and it will tell you when they wrote jurisdiction in there, they meant specifically for people under the power and authority of the United States, not anybody. So y'all seen persons in there and y'all thought, oh, that's everybody in the world. No, not at all. We would never play ourselves like that. They don't even make logical sense.
Pritzker has to answer for that in Illinois as well. Look, Billy Mojus is one of the plaintiffs in this case, and she was on America Reports at 1:00 today. She's not even going as far to say, get this out of the schools altogether.